it happens. Sometimes you talk and sometimes you don't.
I guess you're right. Speaking of talking, hi and welcome to Blank Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm Hunter, and I'm here with...
I'm John!
Yeah, Sarah,
Sarah exploded.
Yeah, she drank way too much of that bubblegum flavored Scottish soda. What's it called that she likes
Iron
so
Brew.
much? She drank way too much of that at PAX.
Yeah, and exploded.
Yeah, couldn't handle it.
Nope.
But
unfortunate, really, but hopefully she'll be back next week.
No, it's been a tough week for all of us. I got attacked by a dog. She drank too much soda.
I had to put a starter in my car.
Wow, we all have lost so much. But, yeah, so Skipper and I are sitting down today, and we are finishing up the NPCs from the one-shot that we all wrote as a group last episode. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I definitely would go back. It's actually 2 episodes ago, because there was an announcement about me getting attacked by a dog that caused the delay of this episode. So there's no information that is relevant to this episode in that announcement, but the actual full episode before this is where you will find the one shot that we wrote that these are NPCs for. I would recommend recommend checking that out so you have a little more context. But if you just want to hear us talk about some NPCs we made and then freeform some PCs for the adventure and just hang out, whatever.
Yeah, you can do that.
You could listen to this first, then knowing the characters, go into it and hear the story and imagine it in your head.
Whoa.
Wow.
Context before story.
You have so many options. It's like watching the edit of Lost that puts the whole thing in chronological order.
Oh, yeah. I have never watched Lost.
I have not either.
I don't think a single episode.
I watched like the first season, and then I think I got a girlfriend, and that was more interesting than watching Lost.
I get that, yeah. I don't know. I just hear they're polar bears on a tropical island or something.
Yeah, I don't think... I know apparently at some point it switches to like flashbacks to what they were doing before the island.
Oh.
But I didn't make it that far. They were still just on the island.
Just hanging out on an island. Okay, well.
So.
But this isn't Lost.
Yeah.
We are lost in the weeds, though.
Yeah. Luckily, this is not a Lost podcast because we would have nothing to say about it that would be interesting. But before this episode started, we sat down and we actually made some character sheets. We made 3.
Yeah.
For the 3 main NPCs that the players will be interacting with during our one-shot. So those are Baron Dennis.
McKeely.
We have his sweeper, Beverly.
Beverly Pouilly.
Yeah. It's Greek. I try my best there.
Yeah, we aren't Greek.
And then
we don't
also
speak Greek.
Nope, certainly do not.
Okay.
And then we also have our pack priest.
Yeah, Father Orlando Abadelli?
Yes, Abadelli. Yes, we I know we gave him a name last episode, but we didn't remember what it was, so we just gave him a new one. So.
This one, it's a good name, I think.
If you're like, what happened to that guy? It's the same guy.
Yeah, it's this guy now. He goes by 2 names.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. The other one is the one we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah. So which one do we want to talk about first? I'm thinking the Baron or the Bishop or the Father, I guess.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mr. Dennis here. This seems good enough.
Yeah, it'll be the first character that you'll run into. Dennis is the one holding the rant that all the players start at. So.
So we talked about how he is Bruja.
Yes.
We gave him a scene queen predator type. We think that's kind of cool, with his peeps being bikers.
Little stereotypical anarch, but
I mean,
they're in the Midwest,
right? Midwest, and like they're anarchs.
Yeah,
you kind of have to be a little bit stereotypical, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We will break a little bit from stereotype and say he is, while still being a punchy Bruja, he is much more of a, I'm going to continue talking while you use your energy punching me in the face, Bruja, right?
Yeah. He's kind of nerdy. Like, he's tough, but less of a, I'm going to beat the shit out you.
Yeah. So what do we want to talk about him first? Like, I guess he's a talker, so we put his 4 dots in charisma. And his 1 dot was in...
I believe it was resolve, though we did bump that up with some XP at the end. He was built as a Ancilla, and then we added a little extra XP just for fun.
Yeah.
We wanted these characters, this is for a one-shot, but we did want to put some more some more stuff in there. So if you did decide to turn this into a chronicle, you would have a little more going on.
Let's see some of the interesting highlights that we've got on him. Skills, the skills that he has dots in: athletics, brawl, drive, melee, etiquette with bikers, insight, intimidation, leadership, persuasion, streetwise subterfuge, awareness, investigation, politics with vampires, and technology. Obviously much more social than really anything else.
Yeah, we did put his 3s in brawl, leadership, and politics, though. So, like, he can fight if he's gotta.
Right, but he's really more of a leader. He's like, let's go, guys. We're tough.
Especially for his age, he's not that crazy of a fighter.
Right,
He is
yeah.
In Scylla, so he's like 10th gen, 11th gen?
I believe he is 10th. That's what we made him. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Oops, wrong way.
So he's been around at least since
gen.
the early 1900s.
Yeah, so, I mean, pardon me. He's been around a while. Obviously, he is tough enough to hold his own most of the time. It definitely helps that he's got a little bit of fortitude, which is not normal Bruja stuff. But I mean, let's be real. You gotta have a little fortitude if you're gonna let people punch you in the face while you talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we gave him resilience and toughness. So if your players do decide to disagree with him during that opening scene rant, he can kind of just stare at them or ignore them if he really wants to.
Yeah, he's got resilience and toughness. I mean, total of 6 dots of health. He's a tough boy.
I feel like he's the kind of guy
hold on.
Let themselves wear themselves out and then be like, all right, here's a blood bag, get to work.
I think it's actually closer to 8 because I forgot to add the resilience dots.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Heck yeah. But absolutely, yeah. He's like, okay, good job. Are you done throwing your hissy fit? You're not? Okay, well, I guess I have to punch you back now.
No.
And, I don't think he's the type of character to be like, you're stepping up to me, I will crush you. As much as like, I'm going to punch you a few times and then check in and be like, are you done now? Do we need to continue this fight?
No. It's a bit of a humiliation, more of like he just doesn't want to waste his time.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between the two.
Right. So, he's pretty cool. What are some other interesting things we have on here? Let's see. Boop, doop, boop, 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 boop. Oh, yeah, some of his merits and flaws. We got him disliked. His, like, direct circle is, like, bikers and anarchs. Outside of that, people generally don't like him. Which we thought was pretty good for this dude, right?
Yeah, he's an anarch. He's kind of just, as we said last episode, he's kind of just walking in with a group of people that he's assembled. Your players will be part of that group and basically just saying, all right, we're taking the city back. We heard the Sabat got chased out, so it's ours now. So he's definitely I don't know if overstepping, but he's definitely kind of just claiming this for himself. I don't even know if he's doing it like at the behest of anyone else in the anarch movement, and more is just like, I can do this. Yeah. Like he's kind of pushing his way into the city. So he's an outside force coming in. So a lot of people would not be happy with him.
Right. We did give him a couple other negative flaws. I think one of them is fun as a little secret that you have to go find the character sheet for. Yeah. He has a dark secret. Go look at the character sheet.
Yeah, that's one of the things we put on there for if this turns into a chronicle.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to figure this out. Probably wouldn't be able to figure this out.
Oops.
Hunter, beep that out.
Okay. Unless.
Yep. Unless you play it as a storyteller.
Yeah.
Let's see. We gave him some convictions. His convictions are always going to be, he wants to work for the movement. He is always trying to do what he can to help the movement. And he is reminded by that by a woman named Jennifer Daly, who is a social rights worker. In
Detroit. So.
In Detroit. So, pretty neat. Oh no. There we go. Pardon me.
And then we did give him some merits as well.
Oh yeah. I just jumped right into the flaws because I thought they were fun. So merits, obviously, It's kind of fun actually because he's disliked, but he is famous. He has a little bit of fame.
Like 1 dot.
Yeah.
Like I assume it's mostly amongst
Like the local anarchs essentially,
or anarch adjacent, because fame is like it applies to people too. So I would assume
Right.
it'd be like within like the biker community and probably like the larger criminal community. Like maybe some of the gangs and such, because I mean bikers, especially in an anarch and World of Darkness context, are basically just a flavor of gang anyway.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I feel like a lot of local gangs would be like, oh, he's one of those new people stepping onto our turf.
Right, and well, I like the idea that he has the fame, so he has like not only does he have the dislike, like man, fuck that guy, but also it's maybe even a little bit of like fuck that guy, I want to be that guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because he has the fame, and fame is the non-flaw version of disliked and
That's
infamous.
True. That's true.
So I kind of like that dichotomy though. I like the idea of somebody. Having conflicted feelings while looking at this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we also gave him some herd and some resources.
Yeah,
I like. It just made sense
for sure, especially as a baron.
If you're looking for the lore sheets, they're at the very back.
Oh yeah, boop 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 boop.
They're like the last thing.
There we go. One of the cool ones we got, and you know how we always want to get. We both really like lore sheets.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite.
We try to use them as much as we can, really. So we did give him a Theo Bell one. That's page 383, and it's the
1 dot.
1 dot. So he's got a pack of rebellious mortals. We're probably just gonna say flavor wise, it's his biker gang.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Man, we kind of blew through this dude. Blood Potency 2, because he's an Ancella at 10th gen. Yeah.
Yeah. But
we didn't give him any celerity, which is different for a Brujah.
No.
Opting instead for fortitude to give him more of that tanky feel.
Yeah, I think it just made sense to make him tanky, like we said.
Yeah. Take the punch and keep talking.
No. Now, do we want to keep with the Anarchs and talk about the Sweeper? Because I feel like she's a good balance to him.
Yeah, I like the Sweeper actually a lot. I think she might be one of my favorite characters we built today, out of the three.
She's a lot of fun. The only thing I really remember talking about her from last episode was Sarah, for some reason, was giving her like a Wisconsin, like northern Midwest accent.
Yeah.
But other than that, we didn't put a whole lot of info on her, other than she shows up at the end to save the players. That's kind of their... Unless they are creative enough to get their own way out. She's like, it's kind of like a waiting on the clock for her to come save the day.
Right.
So.
Right. So let's jump in.
Yeah.
Her name, she's a sweeper, Beverly Poulier,
I believe.
Poulier.
It's Greek.
It's rough. It's hard to say that for me. That's okay though. She's a gangrel. She's obviously an anarch. We gave her the predator type farmer. We thought was kind of cool. She just drinks animals.
Yeah, and there's it's taking place in Detroit. There are sections that are very like animal inhabited in the city. I feel like the gangrels could almost be in the city and still be doing their animal thing, especially in the parts that are still more run down.
Absolutely. That city gangrel feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, what are her stats looking like? 4 dots in composure, 1 dot is in strength. For being a gangrel, she's not super like I'm a punch. We'll talk about why in a little bit. But we definitely wanted, as the sweeper, as the person like essentially the sheriff for the anarchs, we wanted her to be able to stay composed and like on her feet and out of her head.
Yeah, she's got her wits about her.
Focused. There we go. That's it. Got her wits about her.
3 dots, in fact, about her. Wits. But we kind of talked as if she was more the face or the voice to the city for the Anarchs and what they're doing than even the Baron himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's kind of...
He's more like CEO.
Yeah.
While she is more like...
spokesperson.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. We did that by giving her actually... Well, let's jump around.
Yeah, we can jump around a little bit.
We'll jump all the way down to her merits. We tried to reflect the fact that she is really kind of plugged into the like lifeblood of the city by giving her a bunch of contacts, low-level contacts, because they are coming into the city new. The Anarchs are just now moving in, so they don't have a hard hold yet. But let's see. We gave her 4 contacts at 1 dot apiece. One of them's a beat cop, one of them's a bartender. She's got an EMT and a veterinarian. She has got a little bit of influence in the media.
Yes.
And she's got a damn good mask named Courtney Bird.
Yep.
Let's see. Her flaw is that she is vegan. So not only is she a farmer, she is also vegan. Oh, well, that came with. That came with the farmer. Haha, whoops.
So.
What else do we have here? Oh, yeah, let's do her these. So she has her beliefs, conviction, and touchstones. We just gave her 1 for each. You could totally add more if you wanted. If you needed a little bit more oomph in this for her, that's totally cool.
We wanted it just enough for flavor for a one-shot, and also to leave you room if you decided to take this and run this and turn it into the start for a chronicle. Kind of fill in the blanks to guide the chronicle in the direction you want to go. Yeah. These are going to be important characters.
Hopefully for a while. Unless your party decides to kill them.
Yes, and your part, it might not be easy, but...
Right, they might have to form a few plans, but... So she, her conviction is protect the vulnerable. We kind of did that by giving her all those contacts. I thought that we had taken... I thought we had given her some contacts in the... No, we did media instead. Never mind. So, protect the vulnerable. Her touchstones is Day Garrett. It's a free healthcare or a free health clinic nurse practitioner there. So she's kind of got her fingers in a lot of stuff. She's definitely the highest humanity vampire I have made, I think, ever.
Yeah.
She's 8 dots humanity. Wowza, lady. You care about humans. Where do we jump to next? What do you want to talk about?
Let's see here. I guess we could talk about her disciplines, because that get into why she herself is not that punchy.
That's true. Yeah. So she stuck with the classic Gangrel disciplines: animalism, fortitude, protean. And actually the dots are even. I'm just realizing that.
Yeah, 2, 2, and 2.
Yep. 2, 2, and 2. We got 2 in animalism, Bond Familius and Feral Whispers, of course, right? Can you guys guess where we're going with this? She's got fortitude, unswayable mind, and one that I didn't actually know was a thing until you pointed it out.
Yeah.
Enduring beasts.
That's such a cool one, though.
Yeah, super cool. So you can feed a little bit of your blood to one of your vampire buddies that's a animal of whatever kind, and they actually get some of your fortitude. Making them tougher. Pretty dope.
Yeah. The way it's written, it can either work on like one giant beast, like you could do it to a bear, or you could do it to like a swarm of bugs.
That's so cool.
Whatever, as long as it fits the Bond Familius.
Yeah.
You can use it.
So that's specifically with your Bond Familius, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Might have to reread it, but that's how I read it anyway.
Yeah. We were thinking of the idea of using, it's Detroit, which means it's a big city, and there are still spots of it that are very run down, kind of barren. So we were thinking street dogs. Maybe she's got like some random Cane Corso or like I don't know, Great Dane, some big ass fucking dog for her Bond Familius, and then just a bunch of other ones that she's just ghouled to her.
Yeah.
So she runs with like a pack of wild dogs. Pretty neat. In Protean, she's got Eyes of the Beast and feral weapons. So that if she does have to get in a fight, I mean, she's got feral weapons.
Yeah.
Let's be real; those things are nasty. What is her feral weapon? Do you think she like grows claws, or does she get like big ass teeth, like wolf type thing?
Interesting. She's got the dogs, so the teeth might be like a little more on brand. Although for feral weapons, I do always go with the big claws. I feel like that feels very Gangrel.
Absolutely. I would say maybe instead of huge claws or huge fangs, they're just medium claws and medium fangs.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, so her claws aren't like, fucking knives,
No.
as like a lot of the time they're described. They're like, a couple inches long max.
No.
And then her teeth are slightly more long than a normal vampire.
Okay.
I like that idea, 'cause she's scratchy and bitey that way.
Yeah.
You know?
She's kind of literally just kind of goes feral on people.
Yeah.
It's more the dogs attack and then she goes in to finish.
Right. I like this. We also, well, let's talk about a little bit about her skills on that, actually, and because I think my favorite one that she has, and something that I don't see very often, is actually we gave her 2 dots because Animal Kin's her 3. She is a jack of all trades, so she's kind of all over the place. But she's got survival with a specialty in hunting. That came from Farmer, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes. So there's 2 options you could pick. We went with that one.
We thought it was cool for her. I like the idea of if she's a sweeper, she's probably is looking for people a lot of the time. I like the idea of her feral dogs being like used almost like hunting dogs, where they will like corral things and almost herd her quote unquote prey into where she's at. I like the idea of the sweeper being like, you're holed up in like an apartment building and she's like, okay, it's just me and my dogs, I'll find you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Terrifying, but cool.
Yeah, right. Working at the animal shelter, the idea of a pack of like street dogs just coming at you is horrific.
We also gave her a little bit of awareness, a little bit of investigation, but otherwise, mostly, jack of all trades, so she's got like a dot in almost every single physical skill and a dot in most of the social skills. She's kind of, like we said, the face of for the Anarch, so she's talking to people, she's all over the place. She, at a minimum, can hold a conversation with most people, and she's got some toughness to her, so
she's not somebody you want to see when she's unhappy with you. But if she's not unhappy with you, I bet she's a really fun person to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a humanity 8. She's like real into the Anarch movement. She's all about defending the weak in almost a Robin Hood sort of way. Like,
yeah.
I feel like she stands out amongst a lot of the other people that we've built for this city so far. So,
And honestly, like I said, I think she's kind of my favorite. I like, the more we're talking about this character sheet, the more like little backstory stuff is just popping in my head randomly. Like, I like the idea that she used to be in the cam, and she's like, she saw what the cam is doing to like thin bloods and people who just aren't fully invested, and that's why she left. And now she's like, I'm here to defend you guys because I know what it's like in the tower. You know what I mean?
Maybe she dipped out from Chicago or something, somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to go over for Beverly?
I'm looking over Enduring Beast because I was so curious. Yep, okay. To imbue other animals besides their Bondus Familia. Their Familius. So it's the rest of her pack that she can use Enduring Beasts on.
Okay, so the Bond Familiar gets its regular benefits, and then the rest of the dogs also now get this Fortitude buff. Too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which is pretty dope, actually. So they're tough feral dogs. Dogs are already so tough.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Right?
I'm glad she's Humanity
8. She gets down to 3 and she's just like, okay, you 12 dogs, rip that man to pieces. And it happens. Ugh. Cool.
I mean, she's a sweeper. Might happen anyway.
I mean, every once in a while,
but,
probably true.
Someone who deserves it. Probably.
Really deserves it.
They're entering old Sabat territory, so.
Right. At some point, you're really going to have to bring down the hammer, probably.
Yeah.
And by hammer, I mean 13 dogs.
But speaking of the Sabat, we have one other NPC that we fully built out.
Father Orlando Abadelli.
Yes, he is I believe in the first episode, we said that he was going to be a archbishop. We decided to make him a father. He is a pack priest, but
yeah. I think father, he goes by father, but I think I was kind of like thinking of him as a bishop.
Okay.
Because bishop is kind of the foil to baron and prince. So maybe he is a bishop to be.
Yeah.
Right now he's like, oh, they pushed us out of Detroit. I'm pushing us back in Detroit.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Anarchs are like, we're going to push into,
Did we end up giving him Mala? I know.
Oh, yeah, I think we did.
Because we ended up
But that could be the Archbishop.
Yeah, exactly. The actual Archbishop.
I mean, we gave him...
Yeah, 5 Mala.
Yeah.
So it's literally... Could even be a sire. We kind of floated it, but we hadn't decided. But literally someone's like, all right, they took the city. Go take it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, even though it's a Mala, they're in the Sabbat. It's like, all right, well, go.
Yeah. If you need help, I guess I can help you, but I expect it to be done.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the Mala being like, I will set you up with the things that help you be successful. Be successful.
Yes, exactly. Like this 5 merit, especially because it's an NPC, could easily become a flaw if things don't go well. If you run this into a chronicle and things run well in their favor, not gonna be happy.
Absolutely.
And then neither will you be your players when the Archbishop shows up. But we left that kind of open for you to build out who that is and what they are doing. But
right, we didn't want to break out the elder, templates and stuff. So
yeah.
Let's see other cool merits. Yeah. Well, the K-Knight. I really like the K-Knight Heresy one. We gave him the 4 K-Knight Heresy. That's the Red Celebrant. Makes mortals go crazy.
Yeah. It's basically a ritual that, quote, makes them act upon their worst instincts, is I believe how it phrased it.
Yep.
So, that's a lot of fun. Also, we already have the shovelheads popping out of the ground, chasing them.
Mm-hmm.
But if your players get through that really quick, this is a one-shot and you're like, shit, I still need to kill another hour. You can always have them hear something, and after they beat off the shovelheads, they find this weird-ass pack priest holding a ritual, and a bunch of humans just go fucking ape shit.
Yeah.
So, fighting, it's some humans, so it's not going to be hard, but it is scary as hell.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea, too, of maybe using it as a hint of what's going to be happening. Like... They're moving through the one shot quickly, and you need like some time before final conflict.
Okay.
And they're going through the city, and then they turn down an alley, and there are these 14, 15 people just beating the hell out of somebody.
Yeah.
Or doing just something awful, and they're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then they, almost in unison are like, let's go get those people.
Yeah. So you get a fight that's like terrifying, but a little bit easy.
Yeah.
I mean, fighting like however many people you find appropriate. Humans are not hard to fight as vampires.
No.
But this does not give them any benefits whatsoever. They're not even ghouled.
Nope. They're just people.
That could be something where if you have to throw that in there, maybe one of your players has a couple dots in a cult, you could have them roll and they'd be like, this is Sabbat shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we knew this was a Sabbat, so that if they do buff, if you do have to pad things out a little bit, it's like we kind of know there's going to be Sabbat happening now. We just don't know when or where.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
then
you could even do it like, you less just, it's Sabbat shit, and you'd be like, you smell something, and it reminds you of this ritual that you've heard of, or...
Yeah, depending on how well they roll and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, another thing to mention, so we're talking about Red Celebrant, one of his other merits we gave him was 3 dots in contacts, but those contacts were newly released felons. So he's been like hanging out around prisons, and as people are released, being like, "Hey, I can help you out."
Yeah, he's a fucking scumbag. Ugh.
Yeah, not really helping them, unless helping them is becoming ghouls in the war for the Sabbat. But...
Yeah, I've got a job for you. Yeah, it pays great. No, I don't care you're a felon.
No.
Yep. We figured that that would mesh in an interesting way with the Red Celebrant, because felons are by no means always bad people or have the worst instincts. But if they are newly released, they may have had learned behaviors in prison that are now instincts. Because if you were in prison for 30 years, and it can affect a person in a very negative way.
Yeah.
And then to add to the scumminess of this dude, he's using that as fodder, I guess.
Yeah, this is more bad on him
than felons.
Yes, but he's definitely taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his disciplines. Terrifying.
Oh, I want to jump here.
Okay, yeah.
Because we did spend quite a bit of his XP to give him an extra dot in blood potency. So he is also 10th gen. But he's got blood potency 3, which gives him the 3 dots in blood surge. His superficial, I don't know if that adds his. It doesn't. Boop. He can't drink animal blood, but I don't think he'd want it anyway.
I mean, he could drink it, it just wouldn't do anything for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's just as good for him.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, blood potency 3, so he's a little bit tougher. I liked the idea of that because even though he's 10th gen, that does not mean he hasn't Diablerized someone of a higher blood potency.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if he's a bishop, he has Diablerized people.
Yes. Especially if he's got a Mala who's an actual archbishop.
Mm-hmm.
Probably very easily.
Mm-hmm.
He easily as in he wasn't in trouble for it. He probably still had to work for it in the Sabbat, but...
Yeah. I mean, you get to eat the people you beat.
Yeah.
So he had to beat somebody of a higher blood potency, and that's not usually easy.
No.
So, good job, buddy. You earned it, I guess. God damn it. I keep hitting this. It's because Sarah's not here to hit it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. While we're on this stuff, though, I want to real quick hit his flaws. He's got three of them that we thought were interesting. I forgot to put what it was. Boop, boop, boop. Silver. We gave him the folkloric bane silver, so that's just 1 dot. We gave him repulsive, which is a 2 dot flaw. I personally like the idea of like describing him like freakishly like pale and like either gaunt or like maybe he was embraced when he was way old.
Yeah.
Like he was embraced in his like late 80s, early 90s. So he's just freakishly pale and like almost Emperor Palpatine-esque.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That makes him twice as scary, I feel like.
Right, yeah, just being this old frail looking thing and then yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
He has also got stigmata. So if for some reason during the fight he gets to hunger 4, he starts bleeding from his eyes, his hands, and his feet.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
Terrifying if your players can make him use that much blood power.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets scarier. And also kind of ties into like a lot of the religious theming we gave him.
Yeah, yeah. So those are his flaws. Yeah, we can hit his
stats and then disciplines.
Damn, it's storming outside. Yeah, let's hit stats and disciplines real quick. High stats are going to be stamina. Low stat is charisma. We wanted this dude to be extra tanky, which is hilarious because we've decided he looks like an old man. So we gave him so much stamina, and that gave him so much health.
He's got 9 dots of health, it looks like.
9 dots of health.
5 dots of willpower.
5 dots willpower. Oof.
He is not designed to be beaten in this one shot.
Mm-hmm.
He is meant to be escaped. He's like, I almost imagined him like the family in Resident Evil 10. Like where most of the time you're just running and hiding until the actual final boss fight.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can't even tell if that's what it is or not because the whole time you've just been like, and I'm running, and I'm running.
Oh, I'm running. So yeah, I like that a lot personally. Especially because we were talking about how, you know, he's just moving around while chaos is happening, preaching at the coterie, and you know they might shoot him a couple times, but he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep talking about how great Kane is.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool.
And I feel like because the Knight Heresy's gives you an interesting hook if you do turn it into a chronicle, because the Knight Heresy is kind of an overlooked thing, I think, a lot in the lore, but it kind of ties into the Anarchs, it kind of ties into the Sabbat. It's a sticking point for the two of them, and it's not something the Cam really, I feel like, comes up for them.
I think more recently, because they're letting religion back in.
Especially the Sombra.
Yeah.
With them, but
so I think because I mean like the vampire cults are starting to pop up and that kind of stuff, and the Cam's not just putting a squash on them. So
yeah,
I would guess the Knight Heresy could be a little bit more common, but it is a very Sabbat/Anarch thing. So I bet they wouldn't be too happy about it.
No, and him knowing that they're Anarchs, he'd be like, oh, maybe I can preach to them. Maybe they'll see the light.
Right? They're so close. They've almost got it.
Yeah,
they've almost got it. They just need to, I don't know, kill 30 shovelheads.
Yeah.
Then they'll get it.
Yeah, and I can provide those shovelheads.
Perfect. Love it. Let's see. Let's talk about some skills.
Yeah.
Brawl. Homie can brawl.
And he's got a specialty in grapple.
Yeah, grappling.
I believe that came with his predator type, didn't it?
Yeah.
His alley cat. I feel like nothing else really. At
Would
least
make
from
any
the core
sense.
book. Don't think we mentioned yet. Everything we built for this episode comes from the core book. So.
Well, except none of the La Sombra is in the core book.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
But beyond that, everything's from the core book. So he's a grabby boy. If he has to end up getting close to them and fighting them, they will not like it.
No.
He's gonna grab him, which means he's probably gonna bite him. So watch
Yes.
out for that. Another little tadpole, a little tidbit that I thought was really really fun that we actually like fussed over probably more than we needed to for this guy, is we gave him 2 points of melee with a specialty, in poleaxe.
Yes.
Like the medieval polearm, a large stick with a big axe on the end of it, usually with a hammer on the other side of the axe.
Yeah.
Because really, what's scarier than an 80-year-old super pale, spooky shadow vampire with a fucking polearm just walking up like, this is what I'm supposed to do? I'd be scared.
Yeah, and I imagine he's wearing some kind of like I want to say priestery, but that is not the word, like priest robe. It may be more vampiric, but I imagine kind of like, I looked it up, it could even be like a pastor's, like more of a looks
like the collared.
Yeah, or I was thinking older, so more they're called like chasubles.
Oh.
It's kind of like the big flay, almost wizard's robe,
Yeah.
but like the Catholic version of that, basically.
I like the idea if we're gonna do that, like he also has like the drapery that the Catholic dudes put on. I don't know what it's called either, but it's a thick piece of fabric they put over their shoulders, dangles in front of them.
Yeah.
But it's just covered in like Cainite symbols instead.
Cainites. I think it would be a mix, since he's part of like the Cainite heresy, and their whole thing is just like a weird twist on Christianity.
Catholicism, Christianity. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, we should. I'll put it in the list ideas, but we should do a whole episode on the Cainite heresy because it is really interesting.
Agreed.
It is a Christian heresy, so
yeah,
we'll have to make Sarah do some research on Christian stuff. So
she'll love it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what else do we got on him that we want to talk about here? Decent amount of intimidation, decent amount of leadership, bunch of occult. We made him a specialist.
Yes.
Because he has a focus.
He's intimidating and fighting. And
yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
And he is a leader, and he mostly does it through intimidation or preaching.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We want to talk about disciplines?
Yeah, we'll talk about those. I think that's it for the character.
All right. So we got Potence, Oblivion, and Fortitude. We did not put any in Dominate or Oblivion ceremonies. 2 dots in Potence, 2 dots in Fortitude, 3 dots in Oblivion. Lethal Body and Prowess. Don't fuck with this lad. He will punch you hard. He will grab you good. Fortitude, because again, he's meant to be a tank. So not only does he have 9 dots of health, he also has resilience and toughness. So good luck with that bashing damage. Or superficial damage.
Yeah.
Have fun shooting him, I guess. And then Oblivion, because obvious. He's got Oblivion Sight, so good luck making him, not be able to see in the dark. He's got the arms, because who doesn't have or want the arms? They're great. And the 3rd dot, he's got Touch of Oblivion, which I just realized how fucking scary that is with his grapple.
I would probably, if you want to really scare the players, have him do that to like a shovelhead or one of the just like enraged humans running around.
Yes.
You don't even really want to use it. The way I imagine the fight going is it's almost like an MMO where they're in the phase of the fight where they're just fighting like the ads. Like you can have shovelheads running at them and he's kind of just trailing behind and shouting crazy shit. Yeah. And then hopefully your players get the message that it's time to go.
Yes. I do like that idea. I like the idea of, as a storyteller, you can just roll dice and say it was meant for something. But a shovelhead, like losing a morale check and like trying to run and him just like catching him by the face using his Touch of Oblivion and just like rotting his head off. Yeah. Fucking scary.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we put in this character specifically to make him scary, even if he's just like you're rolling intimidate on your players. You don't want to overdo it, but like the whole idea is they need to understand like maybe we shouldn't fight this guy. If they get a chance to get a hold of Beverly, if they, as like a we need backup or whatever, they know she's coming, so they can hold out. And if not, they were already told like she's coming around to check on everyone, right? So hopefully she'll be here soon.
Yeah.
Scenario, but
yeah. And I would say, Beverly's there. She's got her dogs. It's great. You've already established that there's a tornado, guys. Uh-oh, emergency alert is severe. So anyway, that's Beverly, or that's Father Orlando Abadelli. This is going to be a short thing, but should we wrap up since there's a tornado happening?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll wrap this episode short. We might release a part 2 with some quick concepts.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be a full episode. Just it'll be a second half of this, but we should stop recording because there's a full tornado warning now.
Yep. All right, well, what are our socials? Let's do that super fast.
Oh, yeah. We got an Instagram at Blank Bodies. We have a Blue Sky at Blank Bodies, and I believe our TikTok is Blank Bodies Pod.
Yeah.
We have a
Discord.
We got Discord. It's free. You can join it, hang out. People are running games in there. People are helping each other plan their chronicles. People are building characters, sharing ideas, playing non-World of Darkness stuff, talking about movies and all kinds of stuff. It's a good time.
It's fucking great. Hang out.
Just come hang out. And if you like what we're doing, you want to support us, we got a Patreon. You can give us money there, and in exchange you get special titles in the Discord. There's special Patreon-only channels. That sometimes I reach out because I'm an idiot when I'm doing research. And I'll ask our patrons questions. They also get a vote on what we cover in our episodes. And if you join our Patreon at any monetary tier, we have Patreon exclusive episodes. We're kind of also just staring out the window and
so
seeing
the tree is going mostly sideways.
Yeah, the extreme weather wind warning. So that we wrap this up, but yeah. So you can give us money so that we can weather the storm that is outside.
Yep.
But thanks to Paralyze for our music. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
We love you. Also, tell us, tell the listeners we live in Indiana without tell the listeners live in Indiana.
Yeah,
we
fair.
look out the window and laugh at the tornado. Anyway, goodbye. I love you.
See ya.
Mwah!